Kitty Podcast, episode 813. Welcome to the show.
I don't even have a good rhyme for 813. How you been?
Yeah. The teens are tough for you.
I know. We're just going to let it go.
We'll get through it.
But I'm doing great. I had such a fun weekend. I went to California, and I went to a lesbian wedding. Susie. Oh, she almost spit out all of her water.
It's like a spit take over lesbians. That's great.
The only weddings I want to go to are lesbian weddings.
Really?
Shout out to Brianna and Chelsea, the cutest couple.
Better.
If you want to see people really, or maybe it's just like, I don't know, the lesbians I know, but so far, all lesbian weddings I've been to, they are the best at exchanging vows. And
well, that's because there's no groom.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
These women wrote the most beautiful vows. There was not a dry eye in the whole audience. Like, everybody was in tears. I could tear up and she used the book. It's this beautiful book. I think it's called The Fox, the Boy, the Horse, and the Mole, or something like that. It's those animals in some arrangement, but it's this beautiful story. And she like wove that into her vows and like the lines from the book and how it like played into their relationship. I was like, oh, children's literature and gay love? I can't take this.
I know.
It was a mess.
Yeah.
It was the most beautiful thing. And we just danced the night away and had such a great time.
That's why I'm a gay supremacist.
Well, you're right, because they do everything better at the end.
I hope you have a lesbian wedding someday. Me and Callie are still pulling for that.
It's so funny because I went to go see a great comedian, Jordan Jensen. Do you know who she is? Mm-mm. Oh, she's so great. So she has maybe similar vibes where people are always like, "Aren't you just accept it?" She has this great joke where she's like, "Okay, all you guys are like, we are born this way. Do not try to convert me." And then as soon as you meet me, you're like, "Yeah, but come on, come on.
Right." That's right.
Yeah, but I do have the history of actually being with women, so maybe that's why people are like,
that's
come
for sure.
Come over there.
It's like I feel like we want you to be in the closet of like being straight.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the way to go because I am seeking only that kind of love.
Yeah, like effusive, like demonstrative love.
Yes, I want journals where we write cute things to each other. That get exchanged and then updated when we do fun things together. I want vision board making parties.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I need to be with a woman.
I know. It's time, Sarah. Stop fighting it. Jeez.
Yeah. So that was wonderful. It's been real fun.
This seems like an impromptu wedding, though.
No, it was very. It was just a quick turnaround because I had a really busy schedule. Coming back, it was a Sunday wedding, so we had to do like a quick little turn and burn kind of thing to get back on Monday. And it was awesome. It was like real quick. Went out to California.
Nice.
I mean, I bought my ticket months ago. It was on the schedule.
I know. I didn't know. You're like on the schedule you don't have.
Big fans of the Brain Candy podcast. So listening right now.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Shout out to the lesbians.
Yes, it was wonderful and the best. And so
that's
just
nice.
basking in the love. And being in California is so nice when you don't live there. Santa Barbara was so cute.
I do love Santa Barbara.
Oh my God, I forgot how cute it was. And just
did you stop in at
pictures.
the Reagan Library?
No. I used to live right next to the Reagan Library.
You never went?
Not
I'm sure it's great.
One single time.
You don't have to like the president to visit.
I totally understand that. It's just a library. And it's a really big library.
Yeah, they go whole hog, those
we were members.
Ones.
We were Thousand Oaks Library. And it's the cutest library in the whole world, if you ask me. And now a friend of mine, a girl who was my friend in middle school, her sister is now the librarian there.
So nice.
And I love that.
We love librarians. We love lesbians.
All of that.
Can you imagine if we met a lesbian librarian?
I feel like the Venn diagram there's a lot of overlap, I can imagine.
It's quite a few.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and now you're going to surprise me to say they have a cat? Oh.
Right. Right.
Okay, well, what do I have to talk about today? I have a whole bunch of fun things. Oh, first I have just some like facts, some updates on things I've heard.
Great. I love things you've heard.
Mona Lisa is going to be moved to a new location because apparently there's been a problem
She
with
didn't
the
seem
amount.
happy enough.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's very funny.
She seemed like,
But she's being moved. Now she's going to have her own room in the basement.
Of
The Louvre.
Of the Louvre?
Yeah. And I want you to take a guess on how many visitors the Mona Lisa has a day.
Oh my God. I mean, I've seen her.
Yeah.
And it is just for 5 minutes, hundreds.
Yeah.
3,000?
20,000 visitors a day.
It's not that good.
Well, that's the whole thing. It is the most visited piece of art, and I would argue the one that we're the most disappointed in as well. It's like
once you're there with all those other bodies, it's just like it becomes more about like the spectacle of it's a meta experience where it's like not about her anymore.
Because wouldn't you argue that the same thing you get? Like, what is the draw of the Mona Lisa? We understand that it's very interesting that you can look at it from multiple angles and it still looks like the eyes are following you. That was like a big thing that the art community loves to talk about.
Yeah.
That, and I think the rest of the reasons why we love it is all just like our interpretation of the story about the artist. Who is she? What posing for is it a self-portrait? All this stuff that people have talked about. And I would say there are so many other paintings that are better as far as, I mean, this is a fantastic, I get it. It's a great, wonderful work of art. But like, you're never going to see the Mona Lisa and be like, oh, you're going to be like, oh, that's it. Because most people have posters. When they get a poster of the Mona Lisa, the poster's bigger than the actual work itself. The thing is a 10 by 10 at best.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe a little bigger, but not much.
Yeah. It's about, being in the presence of a perceived masterpiece.
Okay, so that's it. So people are basically going to experience that, and they're shoveling them off into one room.
Do you feel like there's any
shuffling them off? I said shoveling, and then realized it was like, don't shovel the humans, but either way it works.
Do you feel like I would really be excited if I got to see like the Last Supper.
Yeah,
there are
like that.
Are there any pieces that you would want to see?
Guernica.
I don't know that one.
Picasso's Guernica that's in, I have no idea where it is. I would imagine it's in Spain, but it is huge.
It's
massive
picture of?
It's a depiction of the Battle of Guernica. And you would recognize parts of it. Often it's so huge that you sometimes just see little pieces of it. It's got like a bull that looks like he's like kind of raging. It's really, I think there's just a lot of emotion in it, and it's huge. And that would be the kind of thing where you'd see it in real life and it's like, whoa, that's so much bigger.
I understand the idea that a person wants to see a masterpiece, but there does feel like there needs to be a better way, because at least the Mona Lisa before, I don't know how it's going to be now that they're moving her, but it's just like a mob and you have to like elbow your way to the front. I'll tell you what else is a masterpiece, and that is all of our tattoos. Am I right?
And I want to keep them looking that way, because just like art that goes, have you seen those pieces of art that like go years and years without getting restored? Yeah. And it's like, ugh, what is that?
Yeah, it's like melted ice cream.
You got, the museum like hires people to do this. So I don't need to hire somebody. I could just use Mad Rabbit and keep my tattoos looking fresh, looking new. I mean, I can tell the difference on ones that I have taken care of and have not.
Yeah, that is so true. And you're right.
One arm is a completely different color. Like the orange on one is totally different than the other, because I'm like, this is when I started taking care of them. This is when I was not putting any sunscreen on them.
Well, because the elements, sunlight, life on Earth, it takes a toll. And Mad Rabbit's products are so great. They are simple, effective, natural. They have something for everything, like moisturizing. They have like, if you have a new tattoo, something to help keep it healing properly. Everything you need to preserve or treat, all delivered directly to your door. The tattoo balm, that is the hero.
Yes, that's my favorite one.
So great. After using Mad Rabbit, 94% of people reported that it helped preserve their tattoo's depth. 88% their contrast made it more vibrant, and the intensity. I mean, it's a big deal, and it's just, why aren't you doing it? Now's the time to try out Mad Rabbit. They preserved over 3 million tattoos. They've got an exclusive offer just for Brain Candy listeners. If you go to madrabbit.com/braincandy25, use promo code braincandy25, you'll receive 25% off. That's 25% off when you head to madrabbit.com/braincandy25 and use our promo code braincandy25.
Okay, this is an excellent segue into a topic that I would like to kind of unpack with you and discuss. And that is, I wanted to talk about the future of concerts and of music and live performances.
Yeah.
And I think you bring up an excellent point with this that I didn't even think about, but now also can benefit maybe from a different kind of future, is the art world. Being so virtual reality, those kind of things. And
so you're wondering if that's like the next step, because why not?
yeah, well,
Yeah.
so what
Almost
kind
like
of got
these
me thinking
immersive
about
things.
this is Taylor Swift. You know, everybody's talking about that gal.
Yeah.
Maybe you've heard of her.
Yeah.
And
I have.
I got, you know how I love the environment. I'm all like, do the right thing for the environment. Let's make good choices about that. Blah, blah, blah. I feel really bad for Taylor Swift. And usually I don't for like high consuming celebrities who are like zipping around in their jets.
Yeah.
She, all the time, I see these memes pop up and these like things are like the infograph of look at all the places that Taylor Swift's private jet has flown and blah, 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 blah. What is she supposed to do? You all want her to perform in all of your cities across the globe. Everybody's like, I want a ticket to Taylor Swift. She needs to tour more places. She needs to come to be more available to me. And then as soon as she does, you're like, oh, how dare she? Well, you want this gal to fly commercial? And then I guarantee if you did, they'd be like, how come Taylor Swift isn't touring as much? Does she think she can't win? And so I felt like there has got to be a better way. And these ticket prices are insane. Insane. I have friends who are looking for tickets in any city that she is in. And right now, in some of the only cities that she's playing in, I think Miami, it was, the cheapest seats are $1,500. I'm sorry.
Wow.
Come again?
I should sell
More
mine.
than rent? What?
Right.
And the other countries, you know, I have a friend who's traveling right now, and she's going to see Taylor Swift in London, and she spent, you know, a pretty penny on it, but not like that, because they have, you know, rules on reseller fees and, you know, all that kind of stuff.
Okay, so it's in the U.S.
In the U.S., but also
Yeah.
I feel like, what do we want from you know, you want her there, but I got all worked up, like seeing this infograph.
Okay, counterpoint, because I don't actually know all the details, but from what I understand, she isn't just using that private jet to like fly to her concerts. It'll be just like a fun day trip to go get sushi with Travis or whatever.
I don't like.
Yeah, and the thing about like what she's supposed to do, fly commercial, the pandemonium and the mania surrounding her is her own creation. Her and that Tree Payne, that's the name of her publicist. Tree, new word, Payne, Tree Payne. And by the way, Tree's real name is just Trina.
Oh.
But she's like trying to be
Yeah.
interesting, so she changed it to be like the branch.
Tree pain sounds too much like T-Pain, and I would be like, copyright infringement. If I were T-Pain.
And this is all created. This didn't just happen out of nothing. They designed this. Every single thing she does is calculated and intentional. Everything she wears, everything she does, everywhere she goes. And that's cool. Great. You're a businesswoman. You want to be a billionaire? Mission accomplished. Yeah. Guess what? That means it's complicated when you have to go like anywhere.
Yeah. I don't like it for personal use.
She's doing that.
Like that. Okay, well, that I don't like.
Yeah. So
but
they
were not including that. They were putting all of the stuff on the, like, she's flying here for this concert, and then she's coming back for that. Like, yeah. What do you expect her to be doing?
Yeah. You're just saying, like, she's commuting.
She's like.
Yeah. And that's all fine, too, but like, then you can't act like you're an environmentalist.
Blah, blah, blah. But, yeah, I just feel like she's stuck in this tricky place where if you have a job where you're going to be performing concerts in different, like, you know.
Yeah, I get it. And you're right. She can't win.
Is she, like, you think Taylor Swift's going to fly in?
Right. And she's certainly
sit next
not
to
the
me
only
on the airplane.
One.
I mean, I'm not flying first class.
And
she's not flying in coach.
I deserve. Yeah, I'm always like, I'm too good for this. This is monstrous because it does feel like you're cattle when you fly now because it's so horrible.
Oh, I feel like it's terrible.
I mean, even for regular people, it's like we don't deserve this.
It's terrible. It's awful.
Right.
I hate all of it. So,
but I don't know. She's not the only one. I mean, this is what celebrities do. They all like, they have that. I forget the name of it, but there's this famous. Is it Davos? I don't know which conference it is, but there's this like thing where you go.
Yes.
And you talk about the environment, and they all come in their private jets. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Right. So. Yeah. See that? Like, I mean, I don't know. I don't want those guys doing that. And I feel like those guys could just fly first class and you can get in there and like you don't have to be in a private jet. Why? Why do you need a private jet for that? That's dumb.
Yeah.
But if they were like, oh, I have this, I don't know. They're probably going to be like, oh, I'm a businessman. And I have to be back for this meeting at this time. And why is that less important than Taylor Swift concert? I don't know. I just feel like nobody can win.
I always say that if I were really rich, first class flying would be the absolute luxury that I would want out of everything.
Oh,
whether it's
Susie.
like fancy cars or whatever. I want to fly first class.
I am looking for any and all ways to get my ass
whatever
as
it
close
takes.
as I can, whatever it takes. I am definitely that person who will not spend $20 on a t-shirt.
Yeah.
But if that thing comes up that's like
upgrade.
$250 to upgrade your flight, I was like,
it's a real debate.
How many glasses of wine do I have to drink for that to break even? I mean, free check luggage. I could do some math.
Yeah.
Like,
like I said, flying sucks. Everybody knows it. It stinks.
It's the worst.
Yeah. And that would take the edge off. But that ain't happening. So I'll be in coach with the rest of the schlubs.
Yeah.
No
same.
problem.
So what I'm thinking is that concerts and music needs to change, and how we consume this stuff needs to change. See,
you're like, as I was saying.
Yeah, right. I digress.
Okay, so what do you want to do with concerts? Oh, virtual reality.
Is this where we see virtual reality, and that
I would love to do that.
Because think about how accessible that would be. You know how we have like the pay-per-view boxing events and things like that?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You pay $50, you get access to watch this thing.
Yeah.
I'll pay $50. I mean, I wonder if you can get the same feeling of that collective effervescence, that amazing, like, warm fuzzies that you get when you're, like, singing along.
No, but if you love them enough, it would still be fun. It might not be the same. Like, because they could have the real concert that people can go to locally, and then you could pay whatever, $50 or something to do the VR. Yeah. That would be fun.
And maybe that's what they're trying to do with like the movie when they have them at the movie theaters. That kind of is like a hybrid of that. You know, they had the Taylor Swift and Beyonce, which I'm so mad I didn't go to.
Yeah,
to see
the
Beyonce
concert movies.
At all.
Well, we got screwed. I'm still mad about it.
I'm so mad about it.
Yeah.
And this is going to sound crazy to anybody who knows me and how much I love Beyonce. But because of everything that I have been through in the last few months, I do not want any negative emotions or feelings or time in my life attached to the Beyonce album.
Yeah.
So I have not listened to a single note of it yet. Because I am saving it for when I feel
you're
like
in a good
I'm
place.
Out of the woods. Yeah. You know? Yeah.
I do find it funny how you're very vague about this dark time.
Well, because it's
I'm just saying. I can't wait till we can all talk about it and talk about Beyonce's album.
Yeah. I want to talk about Beyonce's album too, but when I'm ready to listen to it.
Yeah, then we can all just get things off our chest.
This is a hilarious segue for what my next
thing to talk about. But what will help us talk about that is Naked Wines.
Oh my God, absolutely. I need
Truth serum.
To double up my shipment. For so many reasons.
Yes, Naked Wines is where it's at. I was just talking to my sister about this because she ordered it. And it is the deal. Yeah. Of all deals, maybe of all time for brain candy, because this is such a bargain. Like, just give it a try, okay? Because you have really nothing to lose. Naked Wines, you go on, take a quiz about like what kind of wines you like and all that, and then they deliver them to your door. And it's all these really cool winemakers that you've maybe never heard of, that are smaller, that they're skipping the middleman, so then you get a really good deal. And in my case, at least. These are ones I do love. I don't know how they make it so that they know what I like, but they do. And they're just really cool, fun. You can take it to a party and nobody's ever had it. Head to nakedwines.com/braincandy and click enter voucher in the top right and put in brain candy for both the code and password to get 6 bottles of wine for just $39.99 with shipping included. That's $100 off. Less than $7 a bottle. That's nakedwines.com/braincandy. Use the code and password braincandy. Grab those 6 bottles for just $39.99. One last time, that's nakedwines.com/braincandy. Code and password braincandy for $100 off your first 6 bottles. It sounds more complicated than it is when I read it. It's real easy. It's self-explanatory on the website.
Yeah.
It's so fun. You will love it. And I'm drinking it now. Cheers.
Cheers. Oh, I wish I had some. I'm still on my coffee.
Oh, well, that's all right, too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Delicious.
Okay, what's the next one? What did I segue you into?
Great conversation about women's tears.
Okay, let's hear this.
So there was a study that was done, and for the first time ever, researchers have been able to use behavioral measures and brain imaging and molecular biology to test the effects that tears have, specifically women's tears, on men. And the results are fascinating.
Tell me.
So can you take any guesses on what you think the effects
are? They saying, when they say the effects of, do they mean like seeing them?
I should be specific. Smelling them. Oh. So there's something about in women's tears. It's kind of like a pheromone that is released. And what would you imagine the effects of women's tears are on men?
This is a tough one because it sometimes feels like no effect whatsoever. Where I'm like, do they not see what's happening right here? I'm very sad. It's obvious.
Right. Well, you need to get closer to them. You need to cry more.
Yeah, they can't smell them.
In fact, it's reduced aggression.
Okay.
And this study is fascinating. So these researchers, well, to me, and nerds who like this kind of shit. So how they studied it is, and even how they collected it is hilarious. So they had to collect tears. And so they asked for volunteers who could cry easily.
Oh my God, Sarah. You would have been great.
I know. I was like, I read this and I was like, what? That's a job you can have? I missed my calling. Oh my God, I could have put these to use. And they said only a few men even showed up to be participants. And of the few men who showed up, none of them were able to produce enough tears to be able to even qualify for the study. So they tried to recruit men to be participants, like criers, but they couldn't produce enough tears to actually do it. And so of the 100 women who volunteered, 6 of them were able to supply enough tears to be collected. I'm like, oh, I definitely could fucking crush that.
I would love to learn more about these gals.
Right. To know. And so they could cry. I mean, however they needed to. They were just looking to collect the tears. So they said they could listen to sad music, read a sad letter. They used
like,
any means.
Do whatever the hell it is you
do whatever
do.
you need. They even, the lab, they said, but most of them turned to the lab's expansive library of sad movies. They did not go into detail on what movies were in there. I was like, another thing I'm going to need you to expand on.
Yeah,
I want to know every movie, what they cried hardest to. Yeah.
Toy Story.
Steel Magnolias. Oh,
right.
Nothing gets me like Steel Magnolias. I could cry.
Really?
I could honestly, I could make myself cry
just talking
right
about it.
now thinking of Steel Magnolias. My eyes are welling up. I can't take it. I can't. I should.
Wait,
I
is
could do
somebody
that.
die in that one? Oh, I don't. Oh, she's losing it.
Sally Field has a daughter who shouldn't have a baby because she has really bad. I think it's type of diabetes where she goes into like diabetic coma if her blood sugar drops too low, and then she has a baby, and then she ends up dying, and she's so sad because she like lost her daughter in it, and her daughter chose to have a kid, and then she's like has this whole scene when she's like, why, and she gets so mad, and then she's just so angry.
Stop.
And look at this,
We did it, everybody. Oh my God, Sarah, for real, she's collecting them. For real.
Oh,
who plays
Susie,
the daughter? Julia Roberts?
Julia Roberts, and it's Sally Field, and it's Dolly Parton's in it.
Stop yelling.
You haven't seen Steel Magnolias.
I did.
Susie.
One time, a long
Susie.
time ago. I
Susie.
just didn't remember.
As a parent, you'll die.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's too much for me. I don't think I should watch that.
I have to pull myself together.
Oh my gosh. What is it that gets you? Like the child mother thing? Oh my God, she cannot hold together.
Well, now you like made a thing, and now I'm like thinking about it, and it's like, I'm thinking about all the parts, and I'm it's so stupid. I cannot. I would have been so good for this study.
You really would be. But so, have you noticed that your tears have had that effect on men?
Yeah, thanks for changing the subject away from Steel Magnolias.
So anyway,
no, I mean, I don't know, but I can see how we use them maybe as a way to do that without knowing that we're doing that. Mm-hmm. So let me get through the study without freaking crying, because all I've done is open up their library of sad movies, just what I thought would be in there, and here we are. So. Hang on, I have to blow my nose.
Oh my God.
There we go. Okay.
If you're watching the video version, it is delightful. Okay.
Funny one. So, in addition to collecting the tears, they also had to do the control group. So they used drops of saline solution and trickled them down the women's faces, which is an excellent part of the study that they thought to do, because then you can't argue that it was something on their skin or anything else. It's tear specific, because they ran the water down the same place, or ran the saline down the same place. And I read that and I was like, oh, tip of the hat. Well done.
Yeah.
So then they had participants play. They had 25 male participants, and they had them play this game that they were able to measure. It was like game where they were working with another partner that they thought was human, but was really just an algorithm. And there were opportunities for them to be collaborative, and there were opportunities for them to like screw the partner over or take advantage or seek out revenge, things like that. And the groups that smelled the tears, they like gave them the sniff jar, and they told them, what did they tell them? They told them that it was going to be, it contained assorted odors, and they didn't tell them anything more about that. But
assorted odors.
Yeah, so they just smelled the jars. And the researchers found that when the men sniffed the women's tears, they were nearly 44% less aggressive in the game than when they sniffed the saline solution. And they had the same men play both games to see how they reacted, and like with both both smell the tears and not smell the tears, like the saline and the tears. So they had them, play, got the same result. And 44% less aggressive. That's significant.
Yeah, I guess that's good though.
And then when women, like men who don't like that women cry, I wonder if they don't like that we have that power that we can turn down their aggression, especially when a lot of their power is held in that aggression, like being aggressive. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah, like maybe they hate it because it's impotent. Like it makes them sort of
takes the
less
power
powerful.
Away. Yes, totally. And then they worked with colleagues at Duke University, and they paired this with molecular biologists who studied what the tears consisted of. And they looked at the human olfactory receptors that went off when they smelled saline and the ones that went off when they smelled the female tears. And there were 4 receptors that responded to the tears and not the saline. So that says that there is some biological component to this, because there are 4 specific receptors that when you smell whatever is in women's tears, we would be able to say tears period, but we can't test men's tears because none of y'all are crying enough for the study.
Because you're all dead inside.
Yeah, we need to get the tears out of you.
Well, because what is in there besides salt and water?
Suze, this is fascinating. Depending on what you're crying about, different things.
No.
Yes. My tears, I cry because it's a cortisol release. Mm-hmm. So if you cry and it's like you're like scared, or you feel like you need to, like just like an emotional cathartic release, you can take those tears, measure them, and they will have cortisol. You could see the hormones in the tears. Mm-hmm. If you measure fear or like sadness tears, like broken heart tears, different tears over what will have different hormonal levels in them, based on what you're crying about.
Right. I guess that makes sense, but I never thought about it.
Yeah. So for a lot of women, people, tears is a way to release cortisol, because it's like flushing out your system. So when we get like, sometimes when I'm really stressed out, or, you're going through a lot, you're just like, oh, I just need a good cry. Mm-hmm. And you have that cry, and that is cortisol actually being released from your body.
Do you think the tears in the study were more of one thing? Because...
Oh, I bet they would be more...
Yeah.
I bet that would be... Those numbers would even be higher if you got tears in maybe different situations.
Yeah. If someone were scared or whatever.
I would imagine anybody who can cry really easily may have already high cortisol levels to begin with.
It just seems hard, though, because
people who are
they have to be really close to smell those babies in real life.
When you give a hug.
Yeah. But, like, if someone's trying to murder me.
Oh, no, that's not going to help.
They're not sniffing
I think this has more to do with your intimate partner. And so there were, in the article, they talked about maybe some evolutionary reasons why this might be, that maybe it has to do with babies communicating with you in a language, like the babies are crying, and we haven't studied babies' tears, so maybe it's all humans' tears do this. And so maybe their tears are like,
we could definitely get their tears. There is no shortage of those.
Right. They're crying all the time.
Yeah, we should definitely get the boy ones and the girl ones for that.
Yeah.
Because I bet it does have a response where we're like, I'll give you whatever you want.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And so that it said that evolution may have provided babies with this tool to lower aggression.
That's cute.
Yeah.
And true.
But then the fact that we produce tears throughout adulthood adds that crying is probably a behavior that served us throughout life.
Yeah.
That
Even
it is
to this day.
is very
You saw what
important.
happened when my son cried about sun chips.
Oh my God. If your
I
son
bought the
cries
sun
about
chips.
anything, I'll never forget. Never forget. Like the moment that broke his heart and my heart so much. He probably doesn't even care about it or even remember it. But I, one time, was at your house, and he must have been like 5 or 6. And he had a piece of pizza, and I took a bite out of it.
Yeah.
And you would have thought I murdered his dog.
You that still goes on. That is
I was like,
the OCD
he looked
thing.
at me like,
Yeah. How dare you?
how could you
could you
betray
do
me
that?
like that?
Yeah.
And I felt that. And I was like, oh, I'll buy you all the pizzas. Have them all. I'll never, ever. What do you want? Anything you need. I'll get it. I'll go to the store right now. So please, I did that in 2 seconds. And that's not even my child.
Imagine what he would do if we stole a bite of his mosh bar.
Well, actually, I might do that if you steal a bite of mine.
She's like, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. That's just, he's human. That's all that is.
I'm super excited because I have them on a reoccurring subscription because I throw them in my bag and I know that this is how I stay alive on, especially on recording days where I forget to eat.
Right.
And I set it up because I knew when I was going to be coming out of my healing and like getting back out there and being active, and it's going to be hiking season. So my order of the lemon bar ones just arrived. I'm so excited about it.
Yes, this is so great. These bars are the real deal. They are packed full of all the good stuff. They have a plant-based version of their protein bars in 3 flavors. They're super tasty. Remember when Kelly was like, give me this.
Right.
Are they really?
Right.
Like, because, how are you to know whether we're telling the truth right now?
Yeah,
But we are.
That was so great when Mama Susie packed them for me in the morning. Thanks, Susie.
Yeah, we took them on our road trip. They have ashwagandha, lion's mane, collagen, omega-3s, all the stuff that I'm seeking all the time anyway, since I'm in the Pump Club. And it's no coincidence because these were made by Schwarzeneggers. Maria Shriver and her son Patrick Schwarzenegger created this because they wanted to support brain health for women in particular through food education research. And that is Brain Candy values right there. They have a deal for you if you want to find ways to give back to others and fuel your body and your brain, because they give back to these, the Alzheimer research and all that for women. Mosh bars are the perfect choice for you. Head to moshlife.com/braincandy to save 20% off plus free shipping on either the bestsellers trial pack or the new plant-based trial pack. That's 20% off plus free shipping on either the bestsellers or plant-based trial pack at moshlife.com/braincandy. Thank you, Mosh, for sponsoring the episode. I just added that to our website as well. If you forget, you can find it there.
Yes. So.
Oh my gosh, fascinating.
Yeah.
Good work on that. That's interesting.
Tears. And also in the article, it included that like other animal examples of ways that tears are, seen. Like dogs shed tears when they reunite with their owners after separation.
I mean, but I feel like you could just go to the mailbox and then come back and they will cry. Like they're so
maybe
happy.
They don't maybe they don't cry like that, but they're like dogs actually cry.
I didn't actually know that. They have tears.
I did not know that either, Susie.
Okay.
I didn't know. And then it also says that baby mouse tears contain molecular cues that sway female mice to reject male advances. While pheromones in female mouse tears encourage males to stop fighting each other and mate with other females with the females instead. Really? So even mouse tears do this. They change the behaviors. This is so why men are like, don't cry.
Oh.
I just know it. It's like smile and don't cry. Because smile says that you're like able to be.
You're not going to ask anything of them.
Yeah. You're submissive in a way, complicit.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And don't cry is like, don't do anything that takes away the power that I can hold over you. Wow. I hate
so
that.
Get those waterworks flowing, ladies, if you know what's good for you.
No wonder, man. I cry so much. Is it male repellent? Maybe.
Yeah, but I wonder if it I would love to know if it's effective. Not just for you, just in general. Like, it says, according to science, they become less aggressive, but do they then hate you?
That is the thing. Because wouldn't it be nice if it did the same thing? Like they didn't talk in the article about it having any effect on levels of hormones in the male's body. So you know how like when we hug, oxytocin is released, and it's like the recipient and like that kind of.
It must decrease testosterone if it makes them less aggressive.
Right.
Or increase whatever is the opposite. What is that?
That's a good point.
Do they even have that?
They've got it.
I know we have testosterone, but
yes.
Do men have estrogen?
Susie, I don't know.
We don't fucking know.
I barely know about my own body. I'm just learning the kind of things. Like what? Like I thought we needed it all. Estrogen, progesterone. No, I don't need that.
They said you don't need it at all?
I don't need progesterone because the only reason you need that is to prevent you from getting ovarian cancer. And no problem.
So
they just pump up that estrogen. And yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ugh.
If you're curious about, which nobody is, but I'll tell you anyway, about my journey with that, they upped my dosage, and it was like my brain came out of a fog. It was like, oh.
They upped what?
The estrogen dosage.
You're kidding.
Yeah, because I was like, I still can't, I feel like I'm not thinking right. Like, I still have such bad brain fog, and I like forget things
menopausal women deal
in
with.
the middle of a conversation, and like, it's bad. It's worse than normal. My ADHD symptoms are off the charts. And they're like, yeah, let's bump up your estrogen. And then I was like, all right, let's crush this to do. Here we go. Okay, finishing conversations, actually remembering like how I started the sentence. Like, you know, when you have a podcast where you talk a lot, there's a lot of opportunities for evidence of you forgetting what you're saying in the middle of a sentence. So, yeah. So,
what is the downside of too much estrogen?
That it encourages the growth of endometrial and cells and
because you can still have that without the womb?
Yes, I still have it in my body and other places.
We'll just do the minimum that you need to function. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And then I have to drink a bunch of soy milk and eat a bunch of soy-based products and stuff like that. Like the more soy I can get.
Why?
Because soy is really high in estrogen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
but not too much. You don't want too much, is what you're telling me.
No, I could take it all. Give it, all naturally, because I'm never going to get as much as what's going to come in a pill form or whatever. Yeah, natural supplement. See, nobody wants to care about this. Boring.
You know what? It's just, I guess what comes to my mind all the time is how like, so they announced like Pulitzer Prize winners this week. And so I always scan them to see if anything sticks out. And there was a New York Times article about dementia that won a Pulitzer Prize. And it was called like The Mother Who Changed or something. And, about this question of identity, the now you versus like who you were before. And like, let's say I said to you, Sarah, if I ever get diagnosed with this, make sure the following things happen.
Yeah.
But then once I have it.
Right. Oh,
and I change.
My God.
Who do you listen to? If I'm like, Sarah, changed my mind,
This is an excellent point.
Right. And it was an excellent article. It was super long. But anyway, what you're describing and these questions of whether, we talked about schizophrenia in our candy club last month, dementia, anything involving brain health, when it intersects with identity and who you are, who is Sarah? And how we can actually change that according to like this chemical, turn it up a notch. This one, turn the dial down.
Right.
You know, whatever you're
Oh,
eating.
we
It
can
freaks me
control
out.
aggression with female tears. So all we need to do is figure out what the heck that chemical is in female tears, see how they synthesize that. Next thing you know, you can make people passive. And I mean, you have to dial it up a few notches, and probably add some other things, mix it up. I don't know the recipe, but
it does kind of tinker with the idea of like identity and this. Whenever somebody says like, that's not who I am.
Right.
Like I'm not a liar or whatever the virtue is. But those things are fluid and not fixed and change throughout our lives and have everything to do with the health. And it freaks me out.
It is. And our brain, whoo.
Doesn't it? Because I'm sure you've had to think about that so much lately.
Yes. It's like, man, that really does make you wonder.
Like the chemicals in your brain, and they're going to tinker
how can you
with
make
them.
decisions for future you if you only have the information of right now you?
I'm telling you, the article did such a great job of making you unsure whose side you were on.
Yeah,
because
I don't know anymore.
Like it's that old thing of like the children of this woman want one thing, and then her partner, this boyfriend guy, he got power of attorney, and now he's deciding, and they're like, hey, that's my mom, and she told me to do this, but he's like, well, she's happy, like, and then you're like, whose side am I on? And like, doesn't she get a say if she says she wants something?
Right.
And like how even the medical system and the judicial system it's not very vague. And it depends on which expert you talk to and which judge decides who should be in charge.
And how frequently you're even updating these things.
Yeah.
You know?
And because it's not like once you get the diagnosis, then, you can't decide anything for yourself.
Right.
It's a process.
Yeah.
And your decision making is not just gone.
Even just, I have ideas about how I wouldn't want my life to be like this. This would be what I think you should do. But then I'm like, I don't know. Maybe that would change in that situation with that grit and that resilience that we've talked about.
And it's, they have all these like ethicists who debate like what should carry more weight, the sort of trajectory that you wanted when you said like, this is the path I want to go down, versus more of like just sort of daily, like she seems happy right now eating ice cream or whatever they're doing. And why do we want to mess with that? But she specifically told us like, make sure I go to this type of facility.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
I don't either.
There's no right answer. It's just like you imagine what it would be like if you were the kid or if you were the partner or if it were you who was the patient.
Mm-hmm.
And anytime it's schizophrenia or Alzheimer's, dementia, when it's your brain and you are no longer in the driver's seat some of the time.
Right.
Who's to say?
Right. And when I hope it's different. God forbid that we either of us suffer from dementia or have to deal with anything like that. But there is an awareness that I have brain fog, that I can't think. Is like, it would be if I have the slippery slope into dementia, or the slow, walk into whatever it is into dementia, I hope it's one where I don't realize that I am suffering from whatever it is I am suffering from, because it is painful to want your brain to cooperate, and it's not. You know, I feel like my grandma didn't have like the awareness that she wasn't as sharp. I don't think. It didn't feel like she ever, I don't know, thought like she was slipping. She kind of saw herself as just as sharp. And that's the part I don't want, is the awareness that I'm
okay. I mean, now
slipping
we're
into dementia.
like in a whole nother thing, but like another thing I was thinking about this week, and this sounds frivolous, but it's not. Okay, so I was looking up the Robert Durst because of the Jinx part 2.
Oh my god!
Right,
So, I started. It's so good, Sis.
it's so good, Sarah.
Holy fuck! It would be even better if I had just watched Jinx 1 week prior.
Well, so I looked up his Wikipedia and I was just refreshing myself, and there was this section that they don't cover in the either part of the film, and it was about how he had been arrested in, I think, 2014 because he had pulled down his pants and it was CVS and started peeing on the candy. And and I was like, why did they talk about this? But I think the reason is because, like, ultimately it was thrown out because whoever claimed that it was because he had a UTI. Okay. You know how, like, when old people get UTIs, they don't just get a UTI, they go doolally. They go...
Oh, it's like an infection and it gives you a
Why?
fever that can... Well, because it's the fever in your brain. It's like that's... So when you get an infection, it's harder for your immune system to like fight things off. So you get... It's kind of like babies and old people get fevers when they get infections. And like that's what you want to look out for. They always say, come into the hospital if you get a fever or anything like that. Because that's when your temperature of your brain goes up, weird shit starts to happen and you start to hallucinate. You start to do, as somebody who experienced that as a child, God forbid, please don't let me pee in CVS's when I'm old.
But Sarah, I've had fevers in my non-baby elderly life.
Right.
I am never losing my marbles about it.
I think this is a different level of fever.
Well, that's what I want to understand.
It's like 102, 104. It's like crazy fucking, your brain is...
broken.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see. Let's Google that. How high does your temperature have to be to experience hallucinations?
To lose my marbles.
How high does...
Yeah, because I'm like, okay, listen, Robert has gotten away with a lot, but...
Yeah.
To me, it's like, what? How did he pee on candy? And they were like, well, these things happen.
A high temperature between 103 and 106 causes confusion, hallucinations, and irritability.
Okay. And
so
they
it's
have
that
them more
103.
often?
I don't think I've, as an
UTIs.
adult, had a fever that's been above 101
Yeah,
or
I guess
102.
you're right.
You know, but as a baby or as a, like, that's...
Why do they get high fevers all the time like that?
Because
just the immune
fever is the immune
compromise
it's like,
thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whew. Well, okay. So
Dude, I hope that was right.
No, that's
I hope
right.
the medical professionals
That's
are
right.
like, good job, Sarah, because it could go either way.
Yeah, no, that's right. But it still feels like, whoa, that's weird. It's just a UTI. Calm down, Robert.
Yeah. No,
but okay. So I'm just saying that this brain stuff, when things go sideways up there, then you have to hope, because what we learned in this schizophrenic conversation was if you have somebody in your life that you can trust, then it's great because you've said to them, like, this is the deal, no matter what. Because that was the example in the the book Best Minds, was like whenever they had an example of a person who had schizophrenia, but they had this partner that they said, here's how this is going to go. And then they trusted them when they got in that weird space.
Yeah.
Everything was okay and manageable.
Yeah.
But if you do not have that, things get real confusing.
Right. You need that root back to to reality, that
Foundation.
tether, that line.
Yeah, but it's a real kink in the works because brains are just like any other part of your body.
Yeah.
And sometimes they snap and do things that don't make sense. And then you got to hope it all works out. Freaks me out, Sarah.
I don't even know how we got talking about this.
Well, because just the brain fog from the tears.
Oh,
and the
yeah. Right. It's all just fucking chemistry.
Right. And then I'm
just like chemistry, it's really easy to get. Well, I think that's why the more variables I recognize are at play, like affecting this brain.
Yeah.
I feel like the more important it becomes to do what you can to control the other one, control what you can.
Yeah.
Sleep, exercise, eating well, communicating and talking to loved ones, finding meaning, those same things that we all go over, those become so important. Because like you said, with the schizophrenia, it's like that tether back to reality, that one person, that relationship, whatever. You have to like focus on those things even more because of all these other things that we're now more, I don't know, susceptible to in a way. You know, when you're younger, it's like, yeah, I'm going to pull an all-nighter and I'm not going to eat all day and I'm going to go out and I'm going to like party with my friends and blah, blah, blah. And you can maybe like take a test the next morning. Now, nope. I need like a week notice. I need to stay hydrated 48 hours before. I need a good night's sleep. I need at least 3 people telling me I'm going to do a good job. You know, that kind of like,
Yeah.
it's different.
Mm-hmm. Right. It's just the fragility of life is daunting.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And you're seeing it earlier than you ought to because you
just
were
getting a little head start.
Yeah, like you got this thing that happened and so then you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
Most people get eased into that.
Yeah.
Or I should say women.
Yeah.
I don't know what men go through. Are they doing anything?
I mean, sometimes their testosterone levels go down and that's...
Yeah, and we say...
Thank God. Oh, thank God. Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Like whatever Leanne Morgan says, like, you know, my husband, he has low testosterone. And then she's like, praise Jesus. And it's just like, I get it. Because you get a break for a minute.
Yeah. Oh.
The animals, those guys. All right. So here's what we covered.
So much.
Here's all the women we covered. Lesbians.
Yeah.
Lesbian weddings. Mona Lisa.
Yeah.
Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Women's tears. Steel Magnolias. And then at the very end, Robert Durst came out of nowhere.
Always sneaking them in there, Suze. Besides that, sisters, I do.
Let me ask you this about it, the Jinx. What episode have you watched? Just the
1 and
first
2.
one? Okay. Do you feel bad for him at all?
No.
Okay. You're
Not one little fucking bit.
Not even about his mom killing herself?
I do feel bad about that, but I don't feel bad about...
Oh, you said, I feel bad for the child, Robert.
Yes.
Did you say that?
Yes.
I think you said that.
Yes, correct.
Or maybe my hairstylist, one of you.
Okay, well...
But you're like, yes.
Yes, that. I feel bad, I feel bad for the child that he was, that witnessed all that went through all that, because his brother went through a bunch of stuff too, and he's not out murdering his wives.
Right.
And chopping them up. And the violence.
And chopping them up.
And yes, because he chopped people up.
Yeah. I know, it's so horrifying. I know.
I can't.
Yeah. But also he peed on candy.
Which is also a criminal offense. How dare you?
Okay, but how doesn't it make you think like how the fact that he had a wife when he died?
Don't get me started. Why would you do that? Why?
Well, just because because the power of wealth.
Oh yeah.
What it can overcome.
Yeah.
If he can get a woman, because the only thing he has going for him is this enormous wealth.
Yeah.
Like, that's all it takes. I mean, Anna Nicole Smith married that old bag of bones, whatever that guy's name was.
I don't get it. And people are just wrapped around his finger. Like, he has multiple women, like his pretend wives.
Yeah.
Robert Durst.
Did you
I
laugh?
try to not do it, and then
Did you laugh that they referred to Fred Durst in the new one? They were like, not the Limp Bizkit singer.
I missed that.
Yeah. In episode 1, they referred to
What
the
if
fact.
they listen to the podcast?
Because you know how there are those young boys that are like the twins that are working on the case?
Yes.
And one of them thought they meant Fred Durst.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh no, I made that mistake.
And you're
too.
like,
Sorry.
same.
Same.
Anyway, yeah,
Yes.
we went through a lot today, but we got nowhere.
What?
I'm just joking.
We learned about the Mona Lisa being relocated.
No, we did.
We got places. Well, I mean, we didn't get anywhere. You know, it's the women in society, and we feel tears fill up jars.
Did you cry at beaches?
Absolutely.
Yeah, right. Okay, just checking.
Susie,
What's
I
that
think
one?
the list of movies that
My
I haven't cried
Sister's
at is short.
Keeper.
Oh yeah,
That's brutal.
Oh God, Walk to Remember.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
Oh,
What is the big deal about that?
she's like a young girl with cancer,
fall-
and she falls in love, and then she's gonna die. Spoiler alert.
Well, thanks everybody for listening, and thanks for using our codes. Because frankly, can you imagine either of us getting a job in any other capacity? I mean, Sarah has one technically, but
Yeah, but
we can't
we're
just
talking and listening. So
Thanks everybody. We'll see you next time.
bye.